Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. It's supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live right now or post. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. So today's video, we are going to be reviewing, or I'm going to be reviewing, should I say, The Polar Express. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, out on Amazon. So let's crack on with the movie. So I'm filming this live. I'm here, hello, on the 23rd of December 2021, and it's Christmas. So I thought, what better way to celebrate than with a Christmas movie? So yes, The Polar Express. If you've never ever seen this movie before, and you really wanted to get into the spirit of Christmas, I highly recommend you watch this movie. As always, if you're new to this channel, I'd just like to tell you that I am asexual. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction, and that means we don't get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. For me personally, I'm not interested in sex in movies. It just doesn't interest me. I don't like it. It's not necessary, in my personal opinion. So I always look for movies that have got no sex in them whatsoever. And I do find quite a lot, which is a great thing, right? So this Polar Express doesn't have any sex in it whatsoever. It is a story which is animated, but very, very high quality animation. Now, this is a very, very interesting movie because Tom Hanks plays 5 of the characters in this movie. So there is spoilers coming up. If you haven't watched this movie already, it's something you're going to watch, then please, don't watch this video till after you've seen the movie. But yeah, so Tom Hanks plays 5 different parts. So what is the Polar Express all about? Like, what's the big deal? So what is the Polar Express all about? Like, what's the big deal? So if you have not seen it yet, and you're kind of eager to know, is this film any good for Christmas, for putting you in the Christmas mood, I would say absolutely friggin' Lukely. I don't even know if that's a word. So let's get to the storyline. So basically, there's this boy, and he doesn't believe in Santa Claus, Father Christmas, whichever you prefer to say, and he just doesn't believe it exists and it's real. He thinks it's all a load of rubbish, it's all made up, and it doesn't exist. And the North Pole and the elves and Santa doesn't exist. That's what he believes. His sister believes that Santa is real. She gets all excited, like it's on Christmas Eve. It's set in Christmas Eve, right? And so his sister's really excited. The parents are there, and the sister's like, "Oh, Santa's coming soon. Gotta get ready. Gotta get ready." And all he sees is the fact that things that kind of confirm for him that Santa's not real. But this is all about to change. So the Polar Express is a train, and he's basically sat in bed thinking, oh, it's not real, like waiting for Christmas to come, but it's not real. He's not believing, right? And outside his house comes this train, basically. And so he goes out to investigate, and he finds the guy who's in charge of the train. He's Tom Hanks, and he's like saying about the train is going to, well, it's called the Polar Express because it's going to the North Pole. And the boy doesn't believe it. It's like, well, yeah, okay, right. So anyway, the boy's like not getting on the train, and Tom Hanks, who plays the guy who's like in charge of the train, but he's not the actual train driver, he's like the ticket guy. He's the guy who collects the tickets. So he's like, oh, if you're not coming on the train, that's fine. Basically, I'm going without you because he's got to get on time to go to the North Pole because it's Christmas Eve and Santa's got to deliver all the presents. And so as the train starts to move, the boy then decides to board the train. And it's very, very interesting because the boy goes on the train and there's all these children on the train, and the guy who's the ticket guy, is he called the conductor? The guy's the ticket guy anyway. Who's played by Tom Hanks, like I said. He comes along and he asks this boy for a ticket, like he's been asking other people for tickets. And he's like, ticket? Like, I don't have a ticket. And he's like, I'll reach inside your pocket. And in one pocket on the right hand side, the boy has got a hole in his pocket. It's not in that one. And then magically there's a ticket that appears in the left pocket, and it's a gold one. And the ticket guy carves out the letters BE on the ticket, right? And so this boy who never believed in Santa Claus goes on a journey, not just to do with Santa Claus, but journey of himself, right? This is what I really loved about the story. It wasn't just about Christmas. It was about so much more, such as friendship and realizing what you have in front of you. So this boy who didn't believe in Christmas, he meets this girl on the train, and he doesn't really get to know her because it's kind of like you get the impression that he's very isolated. He's kind of like withdrawn into himself. He doesn't believe in Christmas. He doesn't really have that many friends himself. He has a sister, but he's kind of like, you feel like he's isolated from people. He's not really into talking to people. He's insulated, if you like, you know. But then there's this girl who's on the train. She's quite friendly to him, but then there's this boy, this other boy, which we find out later on is called Billy. But I'll say he's called Billy now, so you can differentiate between the boy who didn't believe in Christmas, who first got on the Polar Express, and the other boy that's just getting on the train, although he doesn't get on the train straight away. So the other one's called Billy. And so there ends up that Billy, who gets on the train, he doesn't get on the train straight away. So Tom Hanks, who plays the ticket guy, gets off the train, and the boy like doesn't get on it. And eventually, as the train's pulling away and starting getting faster and faster, he decides to come on the train, but he can't get on time. So the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, he stops the train in order for this boy to get on. He feels a connection with this boy, you know, and he waves at him like he feels some sort of like kind of like an acquaintance friendship. Like he doesn't know this boy, but he kind of feels something as in a caringness towards him. So don't forget this is all children. So anyway, nothing romantic or anything like that. So basically, he stops the train. The boy who doesn't believe in Christmas stops the train, and the guy who's the ticket guy is like really angry. It's like, why did you stop the train? It should only be emergency. And the girl says, but the boy wanted to get on and he couldn't get on. And he's like, oh, okay. So anyway, there's a bit that comes up after this. So when the boy Billy gets on the train, he goes in a separate carriage by himself. And in this carriage, there's the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, that's the main character, and the girl who he's kind of becoming a bit friends with, and there's lots of other kids on the train. And then all of a sudden, it's like the ticket guy goes, do you want a beverage? And people are like, the kids are like, yeah, I do. And then there's these really funny singing and dancing waiters that come out in the middle of the train, and they start jumping all over the place, and they start doing like tap dancing, and they start like spinning around and stuff. And they have all these hot chocolates, and they give all these kids the hot chocolates while they're dancing and singing. It's a really good part of the movie. I found that so much fun. And so I really like that part. I thought it was kind of crazy and strange and very offbeat, but I loved it because it's different. I like being different, right? So that was really good. But the boy, Billy, he is on his own. He hasn't had any hot chocolate. And the girl put a cup of hot chocolate under her seat so that she could then take to Billy. And then the ticket guy finds out, and he's like, oh, you can't go and do that. And anyway, he's like, oh, and she explains what she's trying to do. He's like, oh, okay. So he goes with her to in the next carriage, but between carriages, there's a gap. It's not like a train of today where you can just go through one door and go into the other. This has like a metal part between the trains that lock them together, and you have to walk on top of the thin part of the metal to get from one to the other, right? And so anyway, the boy that doesn't believe in Christmas, he realizes the girl's left her ticket behind and the ticket guy hasn't punched it yet, and she could get into trouble because she's gone to give Billy the hot chocolate, but she's left her ticket on the seat, and so he goes to grab the ticket. Oh, light shade. Oh, that sounds lovely. Oh, lots of love. Yeah, it's really, really good. Nice to see you. I got so engrossed in what I was talking about, I didn't see you in chat. Lots of love. Happy Christmas to you. So the girl's gone with the ticket guy to Billy to give him hot chocolate, and then the other boys realize, who doesn't believe in Christmas, realize that she's left her ticket behind. And then what happens is the ticket, he tries to go and give the ticket to her, so he's moving across the trains on like this piece of metal axle type thing, and as he does so, the ticket goes out of his hand, and then you see this really strange part of the movie where the ticket blows off and it lands down in the middle of some wolves. The wolves are running alongside the train, but not quite parallel, not quite next to it, more like distantly running with the train. And the ticket's flying amongst these wolves. Then there's a bird it goes up in the air, and a bird collects it in its mouth. The bird goes to feed its baby bird with the ticket, and the baby bird spits it out and realizes, because it's not actually edible. And anyway, eventually the ticket makes its way back onto the train. And then you've got another part of the movie where the girl has literally, while the ticket was like blowing away, before it eventually ends up back on the train, in between that, there's this absolutely spectacular scene going on where Billy and the girl and the ticket guy have kind of disappeared. I think that's right. Oh no, the girl and the ticket guy I think's disappeared. The Billy's still there. That's right. Because he's like, oh, if you haven't got a ticket, the ticket guy says, if you haven't got a ticket to the girl, then I need to take you away, basically. And they all think that she's got off the train, and she's not. He's going to chuck her off the train. And so what the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas then tries to follow them, but he can't find them. He's like saying to the other boy, Billy, like, what happened to them? And he's like, they went that way. Anyway, he goes into all through the trains, and he ends up on top of the train, and there's this guy camping out there who's like meant to be like a homeless guy, but his home is on the top of the train. This is played by Tom Hanks again. And basically he's meant to be a ghost, like the ghost of Christmas. And so he's talking to the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, saying, what's happened? And he's like, oh, I need to find the guy, I need to find this guy and the girl. And then what happens is that ends up being, the top of the train ends up in lots of snow, and the guy who's like the homeless ghost, he has to get the boy who doesn't believe, to the front of the train to go back into the train, basically, so he can try and find this girl and the ticket guy. And so basically, like, they end up skiing on top of the train. So this movie has lots and lots of very big action kind of special effects where you feel like you're on a roller coaster the whole time. And so with the skiing bit on top of it, you can see it jumping on the skiing. At the skis, the like homeless ghost and the boy who doesn't believe, you can see them going from carriage to carriage on these skis. And then what happens further down the line is the train gets out of control, and it ends up going into this ice, and and it ends up like, but the ice starts to break, and then what happens is this train ends up going like whoosh, and all like on these train tracks before it gets to the ice. It ends up being like a runaway train, because at one point the brake has gone on the train, and so it's literally going up and down these tracks with nothing stopping it, like a roller coaster. And when it's on the actual ice bit and the ice starts breaking and water is flooding everywhere, the train is moving backwards and forwards, and so it's very, very feels like you're literally at a theme park the whole time. This is where all the action, the special effects, the magic of the kind of the magic mixed with the action comes into it. And there's some stunning parts where you really do feel like you're on a roller coaster. You feel like, because Tom Hanks ends up, the boy ends up finding Tom Hanks, and and the girl, and they all end up at the beginning of the train, and they're on the front of it, and because the train brakes don't work anymore, the Polar Express train brakes don't work anymore, they literally on the train tracks, like going so fast, and you see all this and you're like going over, and then you're going up, and then you're going over, and then you're going up, and you're like, oh my gosh, because I love theme park rides, and it literally is like you're on a roller coaster and you're going higher and higher, but you're not really fully strapped in. And so it's a bit like virtual reality, only it's not, it looks 3D as well, virtual reality, but you're not wearing any glasses, and you're not, it's not actually 3D. I don't know if they ever made this in 3D, because it would be awesome if it was, but it's just incredible. The actual special effects in this film, thanks for film thumbs up, is absolutely sensational. It's really stunning. You literally are feeling like you're on that roller coaster, which is a Polar Express. You're feeling up and down, and it's just so awesome. And then when they're going into the ice, you see all the water gushing around the Polar Express, and it's trying to get on the tracks at the other side. And so eventually, when it does get to the tracks on the other side, they eventually do end up at the North Pole. And the girl and the boy Billy believe in Father Christmas, but the original, the main character, the boy who doesn't believe in Father Christmas, Santa Claus, still doesn't believe, even though they're at the North Pole. And they're meant to get off the train when they get there to the North Pole, and they meant to just get into pairs, and so that Tom Hanks, who's a ticket guy, can keep them all together and show them where they've got to go, because they've seen this spectacular event there, because it's the night before Christmas Eve, and the first present is going to be given, and they do a ceremony in like the square with all these elves, where they have a massive Christmas tree light up, and one person gets chosen by Santa to have a gift. And so this is what they've all come to see. It's like a tradition, but I've never known this tradition before, but obviously this is the movie. It's like, oh my gosh, this is what they've come to see. But the boy who's called Billy, he's literally said to them during the trip, to the girl and the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, that he never gets any presents, that Santa never comes for him, even though he believes in Santa. He always feels basically sad. And he stays on the train thinking there's no point in getting off the train, because Santa doesn't have any gifts for him. So there's no point in actually celebrating with everyone, because he doesn't feel like celebrating. And the girl and the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, Father Christmas, realizes that he's still on the train, and everyone else has got off, and because they become friends with him during the journey, they want to include him. So they go back to the actual train, and they try to get him to come off with them, so saying that basically about it's time to celebrate, it's friendship, please come with us, we basically they care about him. And then all of a sudden what's happened is, just before they got back on the train, the girl and the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, to go and see Billy, who's feeling left out basically, and like he's nothing worth celebrating because he never gets any gifts anyway, he accidentally hit one of the levers on the train. And when they're talking to Billy, he's finally convinced, yeah, okay, he's made some friends, he'll come with them in the very least to be with them, right? And then what happens is that part of the train starts moving, but it separates from the rest of the train, and then you've got more awesome special effects. So literally this is a runaway carriage then, and it's literally going down the track, and it's heading like amongst these like elf villages type thing, and it's going down this track, and it's going in between these houses, and you're thinking, where is it going? And the girl and the boy who believes in Christmas, Billy believes in Christmas, they can hear this bell, but the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas can't hear this bell because he doesn't believe in Christmas. And it's a Christmas bell, basically. You later find out it's a reindeer bell, right? And so the girl and the boy Billy, they're like, oh, they're with the boy who doesn't believe on the train, this runaway part of the train, the runaway part of Polar Express, this carriage, and it's going all on these tracks, like I said, in between these houses. And you finally find that it comes in between the elves factory, basically, and you can see the elves factory, and then it ends up at like a crossroads. It ends up like on this this place which has like about 6 different tracks that can go off, and it's like, oh, which way do they go? But the girl and Billy, the boy who does believe in Christmas, can hear the bell, and so they're like, oh, let's go this way. So basically you've got all this adventure going on, and they have to go across this rail because the train actually stopped in the middle and there's 6 exits they can get off, but it requires like tightrope walking across this metal thing to get to the other side. So they pick a side to go on, and then they end up going down this, eventually they end up going down this conveyor belt, which is what they have the presents on. And it's really good because Billy sees his Christmas present. The Billy thought, he does believe in Christmas, but he never gets a Christmas present. And he sees his own Christmas present and he's like, wants to hold on to it. So he holds on to this Christmas present, and then they end up going further because he's got his Christmas present. They end up going with the Christmas present where it's going. So they end up going on this conveyor belt, then going off the conveyor belt, then spinning round this metal thing. And then it goes down this chute, and then you see it again. It's a bit like a toboggan, and it's going all around this rail, which is because it's basically a conveyor belt, like a conveyor belt that winds round and round and round. Jessie, hello. And so basically, it's like it's incredible special effects again, because again it feels like you're on like a toboggan. or like a toboggan type of roller coaster, one that goes round like that, anyway, it's really good. It feels like you're on a theme park ride again. So this is really, really good. This lasts for ages, and then eventually they come out and they land in the present sack, and they don't know they're in the sack first of all, and there's this other boy that's stowed away that happens to be in there, and then the sack comes up over the presents because Billy's still holding his present. And all the kids then, well, the 3 kids plus this stowaway kid, Billy, the girl who doesn't believe in Christmas, the boy who doesn't, and this other stowaway guy. He's a bit of a smug boy, he's kind of like a know-it-all. And so anyway, they end up being this big sack of presents. And then the elves have got like a bit like a sleigh helicopter, and they're picking all the presents up out of the building, and the roof comes apart. And what happens is the presents have got to go off, and they've got to go to Santa so he can put them on his sleigh and have the reindeer go off. But first of all, they've got to fly this big sack of presents over the top of this Christmas tree with this big star, and the star gets knocked off, and you see these like ninja elves going down on ropes. And they're like abseiling down because the star has fallen off the Christmas tree, and they've got to get the star before it injures the elves underneath it, because all the elves have gathered by this time in like the square, and they've got to get this star before it goes and hits one of the elves. So they managed to just get it just before it hits this elf on the nose. And it's really funny because, like I said, they just abseil down. It's just so hilarious. I found that really funny. It's like ninja elves. So they get the star, put it back on the tree, and and then the whole tree eventually gets lit up, and Santa comes out, played by Tom Hanks again, and all the reindeer. You see all the reindeer, and the reindeer have this bell, which is what the girl can hear and the boy Billy can hear, because they believe in Santa Claus. But the boy whose main character doesn't believe in Santa Claus can still not hear the bell. And everyone's like hugely crowded around trying to see Santa come out to go on his reindeer. And they're like, where is the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas is trying to see Santa amongst the crowd. You can still see Santa, but not very well. And so he's jumping up and down trying to see him. And he's like thinking, I can't hear, because the girl and the Billy, the boy who believes in Christmas, says, can you hear the bell, basically? And he's like, no, I can't, because the boy doesn't believe. And so anyway, eventually Santa comes out, and the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas sees Santa. And so they end up with the boy who's a stowaway in the Santa sack, the girl who they friended on the train, Billy the boy as well. So Billy and the girl believe in Santa Claus, and the boy who doesn't believe in Santa Claus, who's the main character who started the whole movie off. It's the first one to get on the train. And so anyway, Santa eventually comes out, and it's really beautiful, and the reindeer are so gorgeous as well, beautifully animated. And anyway, they pick, the Santa has to pick a kid basically to get one gift, the first gift of Christmas on Christmas Eve before anyone else. And so he chooses the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas. And he says, like, to come and sit with me on the sleigh. And he asks the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas, like, what he wants for Christmas. And then he gives the boy this bell. Now, the boy who didn't believe in Christmas, who sat with Santa, because that's who Santa chose to get the first gift of Christmas, he actually saw the bell come off the reindeer and picked it up and said to Santa, I think this is yours. It belongs to, like, you, because they're your reindeer, basically. But he still couldn't hear the bell. It wasn't making a noise at this point. But when he whispered in Santa's ear, we don't know what we presume we don't know what he said, but we actually do know what he said. So we kind of meant to presume we don't know what he said, but we actually know what he said, because he basically wants to believe in Santa, because that's the thing he doesn't believe in. So you kind of not meant to believe that, but you are meant to know that, if you know what I mean. So anyway, he whispers in Santa's ear. You don't actually hear what he whispers, and then Santa gives him this bell, and the boy rings the bell, and he can hear the bell noise this time. But he goes back on the train to go home with the girl and Billy and all the other kids, and he realizes the train's pulling out of the elf station, if you like, that the hole in his pocket means he's lost the bell. And that was a bell that finally he heard after all this time, because he believed in Santa, and now he's going away on the train being really sad. And, you know, it's kind of like, is he going to believe in Father Christmas, you know, Santa, or is he not, because he hasn't got the bell? And in the beginning, Tom Hanks, who plays the ticket guy, when this boy who didn't believe in Christmas got on the train, he said, sometimes you need to believe in things you can't actually see. Sometimes you believe in things that you can see, and other times you have to believe in things that you can't see. Because, like, it's like electricity, right? We can't see electricity, but we know it's real, right? So, yes. And so anyway, before I have to tell you, when he got on the train and he realised on the train before it pulled, just as it pulled away, that he got a hole in his pocket and he'd lost the bell. Before he got on the train, and the girl and the other Billy and the other boy who was you know, a bit full of himself, the stowaway, if you like, in the Santa sack, the ticket guy punched another message, punched everyone to have a message in their ticket. And the first boy was a bit full of himself. He had the word learn. And it was all about, because all these kids have been on a journey. This was the whole point of the movie, not only to express that magic is only exists if you believe it, right? But also it was a journey of discovery of themselves and of friendship, making friends, right? It's really, really important. Very good story for asexuals. Very good. Very good friendship bonding film. Camaraderie, you know, very nice, beautifully made film. Definitely watch it. And so anyway, he punched a message to the boy who was a bit full of himself, you know, egotistical, and he punched learn, and the kid had learned to basically be respectful and polite of others. And then excuse me. And then the girl, he punched lead, because she's a leader, and he'd be like, oh, I'm happy for you to lead me anytime. Because one of the bits I didn't tell you, because there are other bits in between this on the train, there's quite a lot of action on the train when they're going to the place. She actually gets left in charge of the train to basically oversee it, and she's a kid, and they have to kind of brake the train at one point, put the brake on, because the guy who's actually running the train goes out with his colleague and is trying to fix a light on the front of the train because the light's gone out and they've left her in charge. And the boy who doesn't believe in Christmas finds her, right? So she was actually leading the whole train at one point, and so that's why he punched lead. And he said, "I'll be happy for you to lead me anytime." I thought it was brilliant, because a lot of the time women in society are still like looked down on as like second to guys, or, you know, even with pay sometimes and all sorts of stuff. Wow, you remember film so well. Cheers for the review. It sounds really exciting. I love your energy. Oh, thanks, Light Jade. Lots of love. Yeah, I remember this film really well. I've just watched it. And so I was so engrossed in it. I'm glad you love my energy. I really love the movie. It was a really energetic movie. It's a really, really exciting movie. And I hope that has come across. I really am really happy about that. So thank you. And so yeah, to finish off, so they punched so this first one he learned his lesson. The second one got leader, and like I said, I think it's beautiful that he said, the ticket guy said, I'll be led by you any day, and it's a female. And I thought this was very good for female representation, especially considering it's a kids film. It's only certificate U, right? So this is really good because we want more strong female characters, and including kids. It's very, very important that we have this in children's movies a lot more. And this is quite an old film now, but it's still really good. So, and then the little boy Billy, he's basically reminded that he's got friends. But it's basically, he doesn't have the word friend, but it says count on, rely on, and another word, which means you can count and rely on your friends because you've made friends now. That's what it means. And then the final hole punch ticket is the boy who didn't believe in Christmas, and he punches believe. And the boy starts trying to say something to the ticket guy. It's like, no, it's for you. That it's your personal business, not mine, because whether you believe in something or not is personally up to you. It's your personal relationship with the world and relationship to magic and Christmas and all that type of thing. But obviously, when he gets on the train, he's realised he's got a hole in his pocket, and he's left the bell is not there, and so he's really, really sad. So they all get off the train, and the boy Billy's got the two new friends, the girl and the boy who didn't believe in Christmas but now does. And it's Christmas Eve, and the boy Billy gets his present because he found the present in the sack in the elf factory in the North Pole, but they made him not keep the present because they're like, Santa's got to deliver them, right? And so this is the first year it sounds like he's got a present, and it's exactly what he's always wanted, because he said that he thinks it's what he wanted, so we presume it is. And then the girl goes, and then he goes back to his family, the boy who didn't believe in Christmas. Christmas morning comes along, and the parents are there with his sister and him, and they've opened all the presents apart from one. And the sister gets this little present and gives it to the boy the main character, who didn't believe in Father Christmas but now does, and because the one who's lost the bell, right? Because he had a hole in his pocket, and there's a little present, and he opens the present, and it's a note from Santa saying, you better fix that hole in your pocket because I found this on my sleigh. And so, but it's yours. Cheers, like FC, I think it says, for Father Christmas. And so and so he's got the bell and he rings it, and it still rings, so he knows it's still real. And then they say this bit at the end, which is a little bit sad, because he says, oh, over the years I could hear that bell still, but my parents couldn't. His parents couldn't hear it at all at this point because they'd not believed in Father Christmas anymore. And his sister heard the bell for quite a few years, and then it just faded, so she didn't hear it. But he always hears it all the time. So in other words, he was a non-believer in Father Christmas and the magic of Christmas, but he was the one who ended up believing it forever, whereas the others didn't. I still believe in magic. I have to say, I believe in dreams coming true. I believe that you can make things that are somewhat fiction a reality. I'm not saying you can make everything that's fiction a reality, but I do believe in magic, because I think, well, like I said, you can't see electricity, but that's real. So what's to say that magic isn't really real? Although I prefer good magic, not to go into not good magic. But yeah, so I love Christmas. I absolutely adore it. I'm a person who thinks life is so short, and there's a lot of things going on in the world that aren't particularly pleasant, and just to have some happiness and cheer. And I've got literally Christmas decorations everywhere. One of my best friends came round yesterday. Hello, Andy. A big shout out to him. He watches this channel sometimes, and he helped me with my Christmas decorations, because I've had a lot of problems with chest and respiratory. Well, I thought it was a respiratory infection, but it turned out to be a chest infection. I have had problems with my muscles because of coughing and my chest and stuff, so I didn't want to go up a ladder. And he came up and put all my decorations on the ceiling for me yesterday in all my parts of my flat. So I'm absolutely really happy he did that. And so it looks really magical. I call it Sandra's Grotto instead of Santa's Grotto. And I love it. And so I just love the magic of Christmas. I believe in magic, I love going to the cinema because I think and feel it's magical. It reminds me of Disneyland Paris. I love Disneyland Paris so much because it's magical. I go and watch kids movies at kids clubs sometimes because, hey, I am the kid, right? So, you know, it's just so magical. Me too. Oh, Lightshade. It's so lovely to hear this. You know, I think there's so much negativity in the world that if we can believe in magic and we can believe in wonder and we can feel magic within our soul, then that's something amazing that we should cherish forever, you know, and whatever you want to believe in, keep believing in it, right? Some people believe in angels and fairies, and we have a lot of angels even within our actual own life. You know, you'll find out sometimes that just people like angels. I have to say a big shout out to Melissa. You know who you are. Melissa helps. I'm not going to say her surname because confidentiality, but Melissa posts lots in my Asexual Business Gurus and Entrepreneurs group, which is a very small group, but it's very inspirational. Thanks to Melissa. She posts all the inspirational stuff in there every day without fail, usually up to about 3 posts a day on average, right? And that is a lot for her to do over the years. But she brings a lot of magic to that group and to me personally, because when she posts these inspirational posts, it's like she's read my mind. A lot of the posts and what it's saying in the posts, and you know, there's a lot of advice in some of the posts. It's actually what I'm going through in my life. So she's like an actual real asexual angel to me in real life. It's bizarre. I don't know how she reads my mind. I don't think she does it necessarily intentionally, but she just happens to understand me completely, like what's going on in my mind without me even saying anything, like day after day, year after year. There's a few things that's not spot on, but most of the time it's like, oh, I've just had that happen to me like in the last 24 hours or 2 hours ago or recently, you know. And it's really amazing, incredible. So I thank her from the bottom of my heart. Lots of love to my friend Melissa. And, you know, and I just think that anything that brings wonder and happiness and magic to your life, you should just go for. And yes, so I would definitely recommend The Polar Express. See this movie if you haven't seen it already. It's very good. It's set on Christmas Eve. So obviously today is the 23rd of December. So I'm watching it the day before Christmas Eve. But it's really worth watching, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a fabulous movie. Don't forget to see it and just believe. I think it's such an important message, you know, just believe and you know, just, you know, never ever stop believing whatever it is you need to believe in. Believe in magic, believe in miracles and dreams can come true. And yeah, always be you. And believe. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to Lightshade. Lots of love to you. And thank you to everyone else that's been in chat tonight. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you soon in the next video live stream. Merry Christmas to you. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I go live right now or post a new video. See you soon and lots of love. Bye.